begin here with the welcome. Good longest night evening, everyone, and welcome to Memorial United Church of Christ. I am Pastor Chris Gorton, and I am thrilled to be able to welcome you all here tonight, both those of you who braved the cold to be here, and those of you who are joining us from home on YouTube. Thank you for being here as we gather and reflect on the many ways we work together in our communities to let there be peace on earth. This evening's multi-faith longest night worship service is a delight and an opportunity for us to gather and to celebrate unity in our diversity. We acknowledge that in our communities, diversity is often not honored. Many people have suffered from Christian nationalism and the ideology of white supremacy, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, politics of hate, racism, and environmental degradation. We hold the longing for healing and renewal and hope and meaningful action. On the longest night, we come together and hold all of these realities in a sacred space. And so welcome into this sacred place this night. We invite you into this time of worship with our many interfaith partners, and we delight in being the host congregation this evening. Faith leaders, what I would like to invite you to do is to take your taper and to come forward. Introduce yourself. Please tell us what faith community you are affiliated with and what city you are from as well. So again, I am Pastor Chris Gorton. I am pastor of Memorial United Church of Christ here in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. And then I ask you to light a candle for the representation of this space and our gathering.
I'm Christina Shanewetter. I'm a Christian, and I live in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin.
I'm Cantor Jacob Namey, on the clergy team at Temple Beth El Reform Synagogue here in Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm Rabbi Bonnie Margulis from Wisconsin Faith Voices for Justice, and I'm part of the Reformed Jewish community in Madison.
I'm Reverend Selena Fox. I'm from Nature Spirituality, that includes not only indigenous folk religions from Europe, but other parts of the world, Wiccans and Druids and pagans and heathens, and my church is in nature kind of folk. And I live next to Circle Sanctuary Nature Preserve near Barneveld, Wisconsin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angel Hummingbird. I'm a Crystal Pagan. I live in Oshkosh, and I'm affiliated with Circle Sanctuary.
Good evening, I'm Reverend Karen Wells. I'm here representing Oak Hill Correctional Institution, which is a eclectic and multi-faith community.
And if there's anybody else that's here as a faith leader representing a community, or if you are a part of a community that you would like to hear represented here, I invite you to come forward and light a candle as well. In the presence of these candles, let us honor this sacred space.
From the vastness of outer space issued a plan to separate sea from sky and sand, but how to give form to the night. Take a breath, make a wish, and say, let there be light, let there be light, tonight, tonight, tonight. In the depth of the forest, we fashioned our drums to echo the heart-beating heat of the sun. Call it back from its dark winter flight. Round the torch in a cave we sang, let there be light, let there be light, tonight, tonight, tonight. In the wick of the candle, the flame in your heart is an ember remembering back to the start. So if nothing is working out right, take a breath, make a wish, and say, let there be light, let there be light, tonight, tonight, tonight. Let there be light, let there be light, tonight, tonight, tonight. Let there be light, let there be light, tonight, tonight, tonight. Let there be light, let there be light, tonight, tonight, tonight.
I invite you all to rise in body and or spirit. In our bulletins, I'll ask you to read the part that is in bold. Let us join our voices together. Come, let us ground ourselves in the sacred wonder of this longest night. Come, all you embodied beings.
You creatures inherently worthy of tender care.
What you hold your sorrow, your stories, disappointments, and dreams. What lives in your body, what is beyond words, disappointments, and dreams. What lives in your body, what is beyond words, what aches and longs and dances. Let us worship the love who witnesses our complexity.
Please join me in the opening prayer. We desire to create communities courageous enough to hold heartbreak, who do not shy away from grief, loss, and sorrow. We yearn for space, time, and ceremony to attend to all that has been lost. Instead of soothing ourselves with platitudes and distractions, may we have patience and fortitude to work towards deep healing and restoration. Amen.
We're going to ask you all to participate in our opening song. We have a group of leaders here, and I'll explain how it's going to work. If you look on the back sheet of your bulletin, the words are there. It's Dona Nobis Pacem, or grant us peace. And what we'll do is we'll sing it through once, all the way through, and then I will invite you to divide yourselves up and choose which part you want to sing. But some of us will be the first group, and we'll start singing. And where it's denoted here about in the middle of the song, then the second group will start singing from the beginning. And then finally, towards the end here, the third group will start from the beginning. And we'll go through that 2 more times. So I think it will make sense once we get started, but I ask you to, choose which group you want to sing with.
Do
Happy solstice! Blessed Advent! Happy Hanukkah! Blessed Alban Arthan! Yo, Saturnalia! Blessed Mother's Night, the Mondranuk! Merry Midwinter! Happy Alda! Good Yule! Happy Holidays! Humans have been connected with solstice time since antiquity. Indeed, how we know this is that some of the ancient sacred sites that continue to be with us today have alignments with the winter solstice sun. Sometimes it's the sunrise, sometimes it's the sunset, and sometimes it's both. Probably the most known of these is Stonehenge. Indeed, a couple members of the Circle Sanctuary community this very day were over at Stonehenge with a whole lot of other people connecting with winter solstice. Many people know that site as a summer solstice site, but it has a winter solstice connection as well. And in Ireland, there is the great circular Earth Temple, New Grange. It's just north of Dublin. And it's aligned to the winter solstice sunrise. There is an opening in this great round temple that allows the solstice sunrise light to come in and go all the way into the back of this wonderful space and illuminate it. And going to Scotland, Orkney, there's Maze Howe. And this site is about 5,000 years old. It too is aligned with the winter solstice, the sunset. Going to Germany, we have Gossek Circle, which is about 7,000 years old. And in Turkey, near the Göbekli Tepe, there's Karahan Temple that has winter solstice alignments. In Egypt, we have the Temple of Karnak in Luxor. And coming over to Americas, there is Chaco Canyon that has multiple winter solstice alignments. Right here in Wisconsin, there's a place called Aztalan. It's a state park. Winter solstice alignments for that, as well as the related community of Cahokia in East St. Louis, Illinois, near St. Louis, Missouri. These are just a few of the many places that let us know about the diversity about celebrating longest night. And we know it's been happening amongst people in different parts of the world across the centuries. And there are a variety of different festivals that happen at this time of year. Some of them directly connect with solstice, Yule being one of them. And the Yule actually comes from a Scandinavian word meaning wheel. And so when you hear good Yule, well, some with Scandinavian heritage are talking about Christmas, and some are talking about solstice, and some, including myself, because I have Scandinavian heritage as part of the mix, I celebrate them all. And Alban Arthan is the name that Druids give to this holiday. It's from the Welsh, and it's the light of winter. In old Germany, there is the Mother's Night. Now, some say it's the longest night leading up to solstice, but by the time the Dark Ages came around, it started moving into Christmas Eve time. And it's a time for honoring the maternal ancestors of a people. And of course, Saturnalia, a week-long celebration, kind of varied over the years, but it was mostly a week-long celebration starting on December 17th, was celebrated not only in Rome by the ancient Romans, but it got transported all over the place. In fact, some of the customs that are holiday customs today, holly, mistletoe, exchanging gifts, giving candles, having feasts, having holiday parties, all part of the Saturnalia. In Christianity, we have St. Lucia's Day, and in Sweden and in other parts of Scandinavia, as well as around the world, this is December 13th, what used to be the winter solstice. The calendars got changed over time, and that's the day that it continues to be celebrated. The day after Christmas, St. Stephen's Day, also known as Boxing Day, and if you know that Good King Wenceslas carol, you'll know St. Stephen's Day is part of that. And in Ukraine and other Slavic lands, there is the Kolida, and that is a winter solstice celebration. In Latvia, Lithuania, and other parts of the Baltic, we have the Zimas, Saulgrizi, and across the world in China, we have Dongzi. If you read the ancient Book of Changes, the I Ching, there's a hexagram that talks about the winter solstice, a time for peace and quiet. And when you connect with Zoroastrians, you know about the Shabi Yalda. And whether you call it Persia or Iran, this was a grand festival at winter solstice time with feasting on nuts, doing charity, and eating a lot of pomegranates. And if you come to old Japan and contemporary Japan, you know winter solstice is an important time for Amaterasu, the kami, who is a sun divinity, a goddess, comes out of her cave and shines her light. In the Americas, in the Southwest, we have the Zuni celebrating Shakalako, and the Hopi, the Soil. And these are sacred times linked in with the solstice. And in Antarctica, yes, the other hemisphere, it's called midwinter, just as it has been by many people in old European traditions. And why is it midwinter when it's the start of winter? Well, it was taking the year and dividing it into the cold half and the warm half. So it's in the middle of the cold half, so it's midwinter. Hogmanay, what is that? But the Scottish combination of solstice and calendar New Year. Most people have no idea about this winter solstice festival, but they know the song, Auld Lang Syne. When you hear that, that comes from the Scottish celebration of the longest night and shortest day. These are just a few of the names of festivals and a bit about how they're celebrated. Of course, there are other holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, that also are celebrated at this time of year. When I hear happy holidays, for me, it's about inclusion. It's about celebrating diversity. It has nothing to do with a war on any of the holidays. And I think it's really important for us as we become even more connected with those around the planet that we understand the diversity of this time, but celebrate that and see some common themes. The kindling of candles, of lights, the focus on peace, the focus on giving, being with family and friends, embracing the night rather than being afraid of the night, and doing good works and really getting a good start on the new calendar year for those of you who work with the secular calendar year. So, entering into the longest night, entering into the birth of light. Well, we interpret the birth of light in a lot of different ways. Light in the world, light within ourselves, letting the light of hope and peace, of joy, of love, of renewal and resilience, of celebration to be present. And we celebrate longest night. We also celebrate shortest day. And there's a poem for that.
Hello again, everybody. A Merry Solstice to one and all. May the blessings of the divine in whatever ways and names that you know them. May the blessings of the divine in whatever ways and names that you know them be upon you all. This is a poem called The Shortest Day by Susan Cooper. It was offered to our community at our Yuletide full moon circle, and I offer it now to you. So the shortest day came, and the year died, and everywhere down the centuries, the snow-white world, came people singing, dancing, to drive the dark away. They lit candles in the winter trees, and they hung their homes with evergreen. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling through all the frosty ages. You can hear them echoing behind us. Listen! All the long echoes sing the same delight. This shortest day, as promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, feast, and give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And so do we here and now, this year and every year. Welcome Yule, and a blessed Yuletide to you one and all.
Let us now draw our attention to the 21,000 people who are incarcerated here in Wisconsin on this longest night. This eclectic and multi-faith group of people are people like us who aspire to deepen their relationships with the holy, with the divine, with the sacred. Tonight, on this longest night, I share an experience I had with a Christian community of incarcerated men whose desire was to sing O Holy Night at the upcoming worship service. They needed my permission to do so, as I was their chaplain and the de facto choir director. I hesitantly said, okay, doubtful that they had the voices to pull it off. Then at the rehearsal and later at the worship service, I witnessed the divine, the holy, the sacred, singing to each of the 10 choir members and to the entire congregation of 100 plus individuals, as we all in turn lifted our voices and robustly sang, O Holy Night. These are the phrases from O Holy Night that particularly resounded in this prison setting. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. a thrill of hope. The weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. And all our trials born to be our friend. He knows our need, to our weakness is no stranger. Truly, he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break. In his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we. I was surprised the men asked to sing, O Holy Night. I was delighted they sang it so beautifully. I was blessed to have such an experience of the divine, the sacred, the holy, who has never stopped singing to them. Yes, indeed, it was a holy night. Let us welcome the people who are incarcerated into our awareness on this longest night.
Will rise again in the darkness of the night. I keep searching for the light, feeling helpless, feeling hopeless, feeling low. But in the darkness I can rest and put down all my cares and stress. In the stillness I can let my troubles go. Let it go. Let it all go. Just be still. Be still and know. In the stillness I can rest. I find comfort. I will be blessed in the stillness. In the stillness, in the silence, I will listen for that still small voice within. In the darkness of the longest night, that voice reminds me that the sun will rise again, will rise again.
The story is told in the Talmud, the Jewish book of law from 2,000 years ago. A rabbi gathered all his students together and asked, "How do we know the exact moment when night ends and day begins?" A student raised his hand and began. "It's when, standing some way away, you can tell a goat from a lamb. Then the night is over and the day has begun." The rabbi was unmoved. He waited for another student to join in the discussion. Another brave soul jumped in. "No, it's when you can tell an olive tree from a fig tree." "No," said the rabbi. "The night is over and the day begins when a stranger approaches and we recognize him as our brother. That is the exact moment when the night ends and the day begins."
I was moved by the last few lines that Rabbi Bonnie just read. That when a stranger approaches and we recognize them as kin, that's the exact moment when night ends and the day begins. With that, I was reminded of this blessing by John O'Donohue. He was an Irish poet, author, and priest. He believed strongly in Celtic Christianity. In his book, To Bless the Space Between Us, there's a blessing entitled, On Meeting a Stranger. One could say that all of life is meeting a stranger. Sometimes that stranger is even ourselves. When we have these encounters with strangers, may we do so with kindness. On Meeting a Stranger, by John O'Donohue. With respect and reverence that the unknown between us might flower into discovery and lead us beyond the familiar field blind with weed of wariness and the old walls of habit.
I light this candle in honor of the many faith traditions represented here tonight and those not here tonight. In the face of increasing anti-Semitism, racism, homophobia, and other hatred, stoked in many cases by those who seek to heal us, to lead us, let us stand together in unity and love. Let us embrace and celebrate the rich diversity of our different faiths, and let us pledge to work together to build the beloved community we all wish to see.
I light this candle for healing and wellness for planet Earth. Let us work with each other and with all of humankind to dispel pollution and be part of solutions for clean earth, clean air, clean water, and clean energy. Let us celebrate and strengthen our connections with each other and with creatures, plants, and ecosystems that are part of the biosphere of planet Earth, our home.
We light this candle for the ongoing and required work for all of us to identify and overcome intentional and unintentional barriers that arise from our systemic structures, systems, and our own bias. The place where gender, race, sexual orientation, income, ability, and religion intersect needs to be understood and nurtured. When we acknowledge that we do not all start from the same place with the same privileges, we can strive to make adjustments to imbalances and make our society more equitable.
I light this candle in honor of justice. Justice is the ensuring of life to the fullest for all of creation. Justice promotes healing for all. Justice promotes wellness for all. Justice promotes community for all. Justice uplifts all. Let us stand together and work for justice.
I light this candle for our mutual commitment to compassion in this contentious world. We acknowledge the universality of the Golden Rule, which instills in us the necessity of treating others as we ourselves would like to be treated. Let us prepare our hearts for open listening, committing to speak to one another with kindness, and acknowledge our obligation to work towards restoration of right relationship with all people and the earth, her creatures, flora, and abundant resources. Let us pledge to be compassionately assertive and not silent in this moment of transformation.
As you came in this evening, you were given a tea light, and so I would ask you to pull those out. And if you didn't get one, if you want to raise your hand. Wendy, couple here. May I ask an usher to please bring for Angel and Rebecca here a tea light? Thank you. What I would like to do is to invite you to affirm these intentions that were just read by turning on your tea light. The intentions named tonight were interfaith unity, planetary healing, equity, justice, and extravagant compassion. Let us pledge to light our own lights.
Words for the refrain are in your bulletin, but if you know any of the other words, you're welcome to join in those as well as we sing our light into the darkness. Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. And light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as a song in our heart. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
Sacred light on longest night, may we carry from our time together tonight understanding and appreciation of the rich diversity of our many faith traditions in celebrating this sacred time of year. May we find additional ways to connect and collaborate with each other to bring healing, equity, justice, freedom, love, and understanding in the world. Blessings of peace, joy, love, hope, renewal, and well-being be upon us, be within us, be around us tonight and in the times ahead. So be it. Aho, amen, ashe, namaste, salam, shalom, blessed be.